Hi, everyone. So, I'm here today to tell my story and kind of give you a rundown on my testimony. My name is Teresa McGann, and I'm from a small town, southwest Michigan called Cassopolis. I was born and raised there until about 4 years ago when I moved to Battle Creek, but that's a little bit fast forward. So, my story starts out when I was a 13-year-old girl. When I was 13, I had a significant event happen to me that changed the course of my life, I believe. So, for a quick rundown, I had snuck out of my house. I was 13 years old. I had went to a party, and they were all smoking weed, and I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to fit in with these friends of mine. And I'd never done anything like that before. You know, it was just a crazy thing how all of it went down, but come to find out, the marijuana was laced with PCP. And so all I remember is images going in and out of what had happened to me. And I'm sure you can kind of fill in the blanks for that. And at the time, my mom was in Brazil. So this happened to me and I had absolutely no one to talk to. I couldn't tell my dad and I couldn't tell my grandparents. And so that's kind of when the long cycle of self-medicating and abuse happened. Not too long after that, I had started cutting. It wasn't like I was asking for attention. It was just like the only thing that made me feel alive at that time. And that's when I started to spiral out of control. So I was 13 years old. And my life literally went a 180 just over one night. One thing that never should have happened. So fast forward, I had started to party a lot. I used to drink a lot and I thought it was fun. I was like the cool girl. I was all the partier. Well, not too long into that, I was drinking at work. I had bottles in my car and someone had said to me, I'm kind of concerned for you. You have a bunch of empty bottles in your car and like, what's going on with you? And at the time, I didn't think anything was wrong. I just liked the way it made me feel. It made me feel numb. I never felt alone. And normal people were just partying on the weekends, partying when they had a chance to party, not me. The party never stopped for me. And I was always chasing that numbness. It just masked everything for me. And I'm like, this is my way out. So when I'm 17 years old, by the way, I'm going to dual enrollment in college, right? I have like a promising life and career. So I'm going to Southwestern Michigan College for nursing, also in high school. And I went to Olivet College to party with one of my friends. Well, there I met who is now my ex-husband. And he was 23. I thought he was so successful. He had professional basketball under his belt and could have went overseas. Like, he was so amazingly talented. But shortly after we were married, after dating for 2 months, he had tore his ACL. And that really ruined his life. And that really ruined all of our lives, to be honest. That's where that stuff started. And I was just this mess. I had so many problems. I had picked up an eating disorder in high school. And I was bulimic for 4 years. My self-image, even to this day, is not correct. I have just learned to know that what I see in the mirror is not what other people see. And come to find out, that's really not what matters. But these things destroyed me as a young girl. These things destroyed me as a person. So, of course, the drinking didn't stop. There was affairs in the marriage, which only led me to drink more. And I was a binge drinker, so I would go a while without drinking, but I would drink for 3 or 4 days until I put myself in the hospital, and that would scare me enough to stay sober for a while. But to deal with these problems, it was like this horrible cycle, you guys. It was, the cheating, the drinking, the cheating because you were drinking. This awful spiral starts happening, and I couldn't find my way out of it. And fast forward to where my second oldest daughter was 3 months old. And that's when CPS got involved. I wish that was enough for me to stop drinking, but it only made the situation worse. It triggered so many more problems for me. And I never got therapy. I tried so many different medications out there to try to deal with my feelings, but nothing worked because I was still living in this nightmare that I created for myself. I had relapsed, and I was supposed to lose my rights to my 2 girls. It was supposed to happen. I remember waking up that morning in jail, knowing that I was supposed to sign off my rights to my daughters that day. Sorry. But there was no expert witness to testify against me in Cass County. And when you're in jail, you don't have the honor or obligation for them to tell you what's going on. So all I know is no one showed up to pick me up for my court date, which was supposed to be the worst day of my life. And this was at the end of March 30th of 2015, I believe. And I had left my husband in January of that year, but that was only because they wanted me to. They told me if I was still with him, I wouldn't get my kids back. So it wasn't the right reasons at the time, but it's now, looking back, it's the best thing that I ever did for myself. And so I'm in jail. Nobody shows up until a week later. And my lawyer, I will never forget this, he said, "Teresa, we're going to have to offer you family treatment court because there was no expert witness to testify against you." And I just lost it. I lost it. I mean, you got to picture this. I'm in Orange. I'm in jail. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't seen my kids or had any visits or, anybody tell me what's going on. And they offer me this. Like, I'm chained to the wall. Like, one arm and one foot is chained to the wall. And he tells me this. And I just break down crying. It was like a miracle. It was a miracle, I swear to you. To this day, I don't know how this happened or why God blessed me with this 100th chance, but I got it. And so when I was released in May, I was sent up to Battle Creek to the Haven Women's Life Recovery Program, which is by the Haven of Rest. And I stayed at the Inasmuch homeless shelter. That is the point that changed my life. Battle Creek saved my life. That program saved my life. And it was very intense. It was months and months of inpatient therapy. I had stayed at the Emily Andrus house after about 3 months at the shelter. I'd earned my way into there. And it was 9 to 5 every day. Classes every single day, and there were so many people wanting to help me. There was family treatment court, there was my caseworker, I had weekly updates, found out I was pregnant with my son, which is a different story, but he's now 3 years old. And so there was all this pressure and weight, I had to get it together and really quick. And so I went through this program, and mind you, this is the same year of 2015. So I went in May 8th. That's when I started the program at the Haven. I had my son October 22nd, and my kids were home forever December 4th, 2015. It was a miracle, you guys. And ever since then, my life has been forever changed. I have changed the way I live. I take my medication every day. I'm vigilant about my emotional and mental health. The Haven really did save my life and my children's. Now my kids are 7, 5, and 3, and I'm going to college for social work. This is the girl that dropped out her senior year, got her CNA, and that was supposed to be it for me, Well, it wasn't. And so I get my high school diploma in jail, and today I'm going to KVCC and transferring to Western for social work. I just can't even believe that this is my life. And it's just been amazing and scary and terrifying ride. And I'm 28 years old now. You know, I was 20s when I started getting in my recovery, and it's hard when that's all you've lived. If all you've ever lived is an addict, getting in recovery was the scariest thing in the world because I actually had to deal with my feelings. I think that was the worst part, is actually having to feel my feelings because I had numbed them out for so many years. Yeah, when I was 26, obviously, and I was in recovery, I had just noted that, you guys, I was an addict for 13 years of my life. And even though I was so young, I was continuing that horrible cycle for all these years. And so if people are like, well, you're too young to be an alcoholic, I'm like, you have no idea. I feel like that's what makes me have a super old soul today, is because I had just went through so much. And it's such a blessing working with Jeannie. It is such a blessing bringing awareness to the community. I do a lot of the heroin rallies in Battle Creek. I speak at a lot of Celebrate Recoveries. And I just continue to share my story because there is hope. And if it wasn't for all the people and the team of people that cared so much about me and helped me move forward, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But Family Treatment Court and working with me one-on-one in the therapy saved my life and the life of my children. You know, they don't have to recover from a broken childhood. You know, I changed the cycle for them. I broke that chain, hopefully, off. And so I just thank you so much for letting me speak here. I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it today. I would have given anything to be there. And just thank you so much. I really hope this touches someone's life out there. And I really hope that you find hope, because there is a way out. Thank you, guys.